Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new video on the channel, guys. So what I have for you guys today is going to be another episode of the transfer rumour roundup, and I did upload one of these earlier on in this week, but this week we've just got an absolute abundance of transfer rumours and completed transfers currently going around the championship. So we have a lot to discuss in today's videos. I'd love to get your guys' thoughts in the comments down below, but without further ado, let's just jump into it. So there is only one place we can start. That is, of course, Preston North End's managerial hunt has now come to an end as Preston have employed Alex Neil. I'd love to get some Preston fans' opinions, or some Norwich fans, or just the general Championship fans' opinion on what you think of this move for both Alex Neil and Preston. Myself being a Preston fan, I'm actually pretty happy with this appointment, to be honest. You know, I think that out of all the candidates Preston were being linked to, it could have been so much worse. I mean, at one point, I think Paolo Di Canio was the favourite, Neil Lennon was the favourite at one point. So the fact we've got Alex Neil in through the door, I'm pretty excited about what the future could potentially hold for Preston. Obviously, his time at Norwich didn't end well, you know. That last season with Norwich really didn't go to plan for him, but I think there were a couple of factors as to why that was the case for Alex Neil, but hopefully he will learn from his mistakes, because there's undoubtedly, in my opinion, a good manager in there with Alex Neil. I mean, he got Norwich promoted with his first season, he did well in the Scottish League when he was up there, and being only 36, he's obviously still going to be learning and everything like that, but with everything he's so far said in interviews and to the press, he's filling me with confidence so far, you know. He said he's not going to try and rip up anything and start again with the club, you know. He's going to build on the foundations that Simon Grayson already set and just look to elevate us onto that next level. And I think that if we do get our recruitment right from now until the end of the season, we get the required positions that we still need to get in through the door, then yeah, I think we could be onto a decent season with Alex Neil. And I'll also round up some of the transfers that I missed out in the last video. We had quite a lot to talk about in that video, so I did leave out some of the transfers which had gone through. So we'll quickly round up some of them that took place a little bit earlier on in the week. So Famo Dahiu, I'm still not sure how to pronounce that name. Bristol City fans, you're going to have to let me know down below, because that could crop up some problems throughout the season. But he completed his move to Bristol City for a fee believed to be in the region of about 5.3 million, arriving from League 1. And I mean, Bristol City's track record with strikers since they've been in the Championship is pretty phenomenal, I think it's fair to say. In their first season they had Jonathan Kodja, who they then sold on for a profit. Their second season they had Tammy Abraham, and so this guy's got a pretty big boots to fill. But if the Bristol City scouts, you know, have been that confident with previous strikers, they could be onto something with this guy. Lloyd Isgrove also completed the transfer. He is moving from Southampton to Barnsley. I know a lot of Barnsley fans are excited about this one. Only 24 years of age, definitely like a dynamic winger. He'll be probably looking to replace Ryan Kent, who played for them last season, and he had a very successful loan spell with Barnsley when they were in League 1 and with their promotion season. I believe he scored in the playoff final, if my memory does serve me correct, but once again, a very good sign for Barnsley, that, as they are in need of bolstering their numbers, really. John Terry also completed the transfer. He's moving, of course, to Aston Villa. I think the one thing I want to know from you guys about this John Terry transfer is, what do you think about the way Aston Villa announced it? If you saw it on Twitter, you'll know what I'm talking about. Let me know down below. Do you think it was cringy, or do you think it was quite funny? Let me know down below how you thought of how they announced John Terry. But this signing has... obviously it has its pros and its cons, you know. John Terry being one of the best English centre-backs, you know, the Premier League's seen in the past however long, and the experience he'll bring to Aston Villa is undoubtable, you know. The amount of quality he'll hopefully be able to bring to them, to their younger players. The only doubts, you know, being his wages, a possible injury record, and his pace really in the Championship could be a bit exposed, but on the whole, it's probably a good deal for Aston Villa. George Boyd completes the transfer to Sheffield Wednesday. I mean, currently Sheffield Wednesday's attacking options are pretty ridiculous. They've got about like 20 players who can take up attacking positions, but George Boyd is the latest player to arrive, of course. He played for Burnley last season, and in the Championship, I think George Boyd can be a very effective player if used correctly. So if he's used in the right system, Sheffield Wednesday could get the best out of him. I remember when he was at Peterborough especially, he was really effective for them. So Sheffield Wednesday will be looking to get the best out of him, I'm sure. Emir Hughes completes the transfer to Ipswich Town. This one being a very good deal for Ipswich, in my opinion, of course. Ipswich actually have been quite busy in this transfer window so far, and with Emir Hughes, he was on loan at them last season, only being 23 years of age. I'm sure him and Tom Adeyemi will be looking to create a midfield between the two, and that could be decent for Ipswich. Also as well, Huddersfield Town, I know they're in the Premier League now, but they've been completely raiding the Championship for players at the moment. Huddersfield have completed the signings of Tom Ince, Scott Maloney and Danny Williams. Guys, let me know down below what you guys think of Huddersfield's chances of surviving in the Premier League with all these players. But Derby fans, you have lost Tom Ince. I believe the fee in the end was around about 11 million for him. Let me know down below, how do you think you are going to replace him? And is it a good thing for the club? Do you think you've done well to get 11 million? Or are you a bit disappointed to see Tom Ince move on? I've seen a lot of differing opinions on Tom Ince from Derby fans. In my opinion, he probably, on his day, he probably is one of the best players in the Championship, but that level of consistency just wasn't there with Tom Ince, really. Harrison Reed completes the transfer to Norwich. He has moved there on a season-long loan. Of course, a young midfielder arriving from Southampton. He'll be looking to bolster in their midfield this season. Barry Mackay completes the transfer. He is moving from Rangers to Nottingham Forest. Of course, he's following Mark Warburton there, who made that switch earlier on last season. So Barry Mackay, a winger, around for 500k. That's a fairly low risk for Nottingham Forest. You know, it's not really a lot of money, so that can only arrive as positives for them. And he did quite decent with Rangers, I'm led to believe. Conor McLaughlin completes the transfer. He is moving to Millwall. He, of course, last season was at Fleetwood Town, and before that he was actually at my club, Preston North End. And from what I've seen of Conor McLaughlin, I think he'll more than be capable of making that step up from League One football to the Championship. I know a lot of Fleetwood fans highly rate him and were quite disappointed actually to see him move on, but I think at this point in his career, you know, he's a Northern Ireland international. I think it was the right time to make that step up into the Championship, and Millwall got a very solid right back there in my opinion. Brendan Galloway also completes the transfer. He's moving to Sunderland on a season-long loan from Everton. Of course, Sunderland were in need of a left back, and of course it does look like that way that we all said in the last video. Simon Grayson does look like he will be going down this youth-orientated view, and that's also been seen with a couple of other players who Sunderland are being linked to. And as well as that, Tom Kearney has signed a new contract for Fulham. I'm sure all the Fulham fans are absolutely buzzing at this one, but I mean, that's probably the biggest signing Fulham can make this season. So there were all the completed transfers. I said we had quite a lot to go over, but now guys, let's get into some transfer rumours. So the first one that looks to be pretty much all over the line is Willy Boly, who will be moving from Porto to Wolves on a season-long loan. He is a centre-back and a pretty decent one from what I've seen of it. You know, Wolves just continuing to raid Porto, but with the Ruben Neves deal looking closer, it will look like Willy Boly will follow him and he will move to Wolves on loan. The rumours about Assam Bolonga are continuing to rumble on throughout this transfer window. The current front runners apparently for him are both Burnley and Middlesbrough. Currently the fee being talked about is around about 12 million for Assam Bolonga. So Forest fans, let me know down below what you think of this one. I mean, I get the impression about this Assam Bolonga rumour that it could, you know, rumble on through pretty much the majority of this transfer window, and I think the sooner this is resolved, whether he's staying or going, the better for both clubs really. Sam Gallagher is currently being linked with a move to Birmingham on loan. Of course, the Southampton player last season was on loan at Blackburn Rovers, and especially at the first half of the season, he really did seem to impress at Blackburn. Of course, it was a struggling Blackburn side, but the amount of goals he was able to get and his overall performances, I think he's more than capable of being a Championship player, and given the right service, I think he could actually be a very good signing for Birmingham. Fraser Campbell is currently being linked with a move to Sheffield United. I think Fraser Campbell, I think it is pretty evident that he will be making that step down to the Championship. You know, currently playing for Crystal Palace, let's face it, he's not going to be getting into any Premier League squads anytime soon. So a move to somewhere like Sheffield United probably would suit Fraser Campbell. I know Sheffield United probably in need of bolstering their attacking options. Of course, they've got a couple options in there at the moment, but Fraser Campbell wouldn't go amiss for them. Sheffield Wednesday currently being linked with a couple of players as well. Currently they're being linked with Robert Snodgrass. I mean, how many attacking players does Sheffield Wednesday need at the moment? It is absolutely obscene. If you go over their squad list and just look at the amount of attacking players, it's just ridiculous. And they want to add to that with Robert Snodgrass. And I mean, he'd just be a phenomenal player in the Championship, of course. His time at West Ham he's been a bit of a flop at West Ham, really. It hasn't really worked out the way he'll have wanted it to, but his record in the Championship is unquestionable, and he'd be a phenomenal signing for Sheffield Wednesday. And also being linked with Sheffield Wednesday is Grant Hanley as well, a solid centre-back. So pretty much Sheffield Wednesday just being linked with everyone Scottish at the moment. And then talking about Derby County and their need to replace Tom Ince, currently the names being talked about around Derby are both Jordan Ibe and Bakary Sacco. And I mean, this is, you know, to be quite understandable really. Derby have got quite a bit of money to spend now, you know, with Gary Rowett. Of course, Will Hughes has left and Tom Ince, so that's freed up about 20 million for Gary Rowett. Whether he's going to be given all of that to spend, it's yet to be seen, but if he's going to get a fraction of that, you know, Jordan Ibe and Bakary Sacco, there'd be a couple of decent signings for Derby. Reading are currently being linked with a goalkeeper after it has come out that it looks like Ali El Habsi will be leaving the club. Obviously, that is a downside. I believe he won their Player of the Year last season, but currently they're being linked with a move for Carl Darlow, of course, playing for Newcastle. It looks like Carl Darlow will be making a move away after he probably won't be their #1 in the Premier League. But from what he showed at his time in the Championship, I think if Reading were able to get this deal over the line for Carl Darlow, that'll be an incredibly good signing for them. News I'm sure a lot of Cardiff fans didn't want to hear was that Kenneth Zohore is being linked with a move away from Cardiff. He's currently being linked with a move to Hull City, of course. Hull City squad at the moment is a bit of a mess. I don't really know the players who are intending to stay and who are intending to go, but if they were able to get a player in like Kenneth Zohore, a young, fresh talent of the Championship, they'd be building in the right direction then. Cyrus Christie is currently being linked with a move to Middlesbrough, of course. Derby, Cyrus Christie will be leaving, and with Middlesbrough needing a right back at the moment, this move would make sense. Also, another rumour regarding Birmingham is that Ravel Morrison is currently training with them. So, Birmingham fans, would you like to see Ravel Morrison play for you in the future? Let me know down below. I mean, he's such a strange player, Ravel Morrison. I mean, on his day and when he actually puts a bit of commitment in, he can be absolutely phenomenal for you, but his attitude and things like that, after time he seems to get a bit lazy, and then everything just deteriorates about him. But of course he's worked with Harry Redknapp before, so if he knows how to get the best out of him, it could work. And then finally, Sunderland are looking to complete their loan move for Tyus Browning from Everton to Sunderland. Of course, Simon Grayson, he was on loan at Preston North End last season. I am a little bit surprised at this one, I'm not going to lie. At his time at Preston, he didn't really impress, although for the majority of it, he probably wasn't 100% match fit. I'm a little bit surprised at this one because he wasn't brilliant for us. So there you guys have it. There are all the current transfer rumours going around the Championship. So if you guys have seen any other transfers or have seen any other completed transfers, let me know about them in the comments down below. I'd love to have a discussion about everything Championship at the moment. So like I said, if you have enjoyed the video, make sure you do leave a like. It is always massively appreciated. As well as that, make sure you check out all the other links in the description down below. Make sure you subscribe for regular Championship content. But apart from that, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.